We live in an age of comfort. Water flows endlessly, warmth is just a switch away, and silence is filled by screens. But what if one day all of it just stopped? What if the smooth path of modern life vanished, leaving only wilderness, silence, and yourself? In just a few days, your small food supply will disappear. No clean water, no warmth, no one to call. Between life and despair, will your will to survive be strong enough to push through the fear? Can you bring light out of the darkness alone? We will walk beside you through this brutal test of endurance, where ordinary people become something more, pushing limits with only a stick, courage, and sheer determination. Don't miss this journey into the raw strength of the human spirit. Please subscribe, share this story with someone who might need it, and comment, how long could you survive? Because sometimes one view, one share, one moment can change the way we see ourselves forever. The taiga had begun to wear its first coat of winter. A thin layer of snow stretched across the ground, just enough to leave clear prints. For Caleb and Diana, exhausted from weeks of hunger and cold, every sunrise was a fragile test of hope. That morning, Caleb rose earlier than usual. They had eaten only boiled roots for 2 days. He quietly stepped out of their shelter, a simple tarp and pine branch lean-to against a rocky slope. Leaving Diana still resting inside, he walked toward his second snare about 50 meters away. The thin cord was tight, trembling slightly. Inside the loop was a large snowshoe hare. "Food," he whispered, his voice cracking with relief. When he returned to their small camp, Diana was stirring the small fire. Her eyes lit up at the sight of Caleb holding the catch. "Oh my God," she breathed. "You did it!" Their smiles were the first real ones they'd shared in days. They carefully prepared the animal, determined to save everything they could. Yet, beneath that wave of relief, Caleb felt a growing unease. Fresh meat meant something else might find them. "I'll gather more wood," he said, his voice low. "We'll need a stronger fire tonight." Diana nodded, her focus on their small meal. "Don't go far." He took the small axe and walked deeper into the forest. After just a short distance, he froze. A strange smell drifted through the air, damp earth mixed with a heavy, musky scent. He looked down. A giant footprint sank deep into the snow. 5 large toes, long marks, and a wide heel. The clear sign of a powerful animal. A chill ran through him. The track was fresh, maybe only hours old. The scent still lingered in the cold air. He remembered what he'd read. In late autumn, the great forest predators feed endlessly before winter. They wander far, driven by an insatiable hunger. And now his camp carried the undeniable scent of fresh food. Caleb turned back immediately, his heart pounding against his ribs. When he reached the camp, Diana was cleaning the hare. "Diana!" he called sharply. She jumped, startled. "What's wrong?" He held out his hand, showing her the size of the print he'd seen in the snow. "It's close," he said, his voice tight. "And it's looking for food." Her face paled. She understood instantly. But fear didn't last long. It couldn't. They began to act. "We can't run," Caleb said, his mind racing. "It's faster. We have to stay, make the camp look strong." He tied the bag of meat and climbed a tall pine, hanging it high from a branch, far from reach. Then they started building a crude barrier from pine branches, crossing them like spikes and tying them together with vines and cord. It looked rough, but it would make noise if touched, enough to slow any large creature. When they finished, they lit the largest fire they could manage. The orange light glowed against the snow, sharp and defiant in the growing dark. Night fell hard. The flames danced while the forest around them turned into a wall of black silence. Every sound felt alive, every snap of a branch a potential warning. Diana whispered, her voice barely audible over the crackling fire. "Do you think it'll leave?" "I don't know," Caleb said quietly. "It knows there's food here." They spoke to stay awake, talking about anything and everything. Coffee shops, movies, the sea. Words became their only warmth against the encroaching cold and fear. Then, deep in the dark, there was a sound. It wasn't loud, just heavy. Something was moving. A branch cracked nearby. Then came a slow, rhythmic snuffling sound, the sound of breath pushing through the cold air. "It's here," Caleb murmured. Keep the fire going. He stood tall, his voice steady even though his heart raced. Hey, he said softly into the darkness. This is our place, please go. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, slow movement. The sound of heavy steps retreating back into the trees. He didn't move. He stood guard like a statue until the first light of dawn appeared on the horizon. At dawn, they inspected the area around their camp. The makeshift fence still stood, but one of the stakes was snapped clean in two. On a nearby pine trunk, deep scratches marked the bark, a quiet warning left behind. Diana whispered, "It was here. It could have come through." Caleb nodded. "It chose not to. Not this time." He looked up at the hanging bag of food. "We'll finish it today. Then we move. This place is no longer safe." They packed slowly, burning what they couldn't carry. The taiga was silent again, but it no longer felt peaceful. It felt like it was waiting. In that moment, Caleb realized something profound. Survival isn't about victory. It's about respect and the quiet courage to keep going day after day. With the axe in hand and a new hardened determination in their hearts, Caleb and Diana left the camp. They walked north into the white horizon, searching for a place where no tracks followed. Their journey was far from over. It was just beginning. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow our channel for more stories of human resilience.